Number 12. I'm going to do this twice using two different methods, so feel free to stick around and follow along. About 48% of you guys got this one right. So what is the value of RT? Well, this is going to be a law of sines problem again, because RT is this side here. We can label that little s. We're going to label this one little r. So if I set up my law of sines problem, I could say that the sine of one of the angles, so in this case I'll say 20 degrees, is over the length of the opposite side, in this case 10, is equal to the sine of 140 over, I'm going to put little s, but I could also just as easily put RT, little s. Cool, so I need to solve for that little s. Same as last time, I'm going to cross multiply and then divide by the sine of 20. So I get little s, I'm doing two steps at once here, is equal to 10 times the sine of 140 divided by the sine of 20 degrees. Cool, I can punch that into a calculator. 10 times the sine of, what was it, 140 divided by the sine of 20. Again, most of you will probably use an iPhone, so you'd have to punch in something like 10 times 140, hit the sine button, and then do divided by 20, hit the sine button, and then hit equals. But in this case, I get 18.79. 18.79. Okay. Which, pretty close to that. I'm going to do it again. This time I'll try and be a little bit more clever about it. Sorry about that. So this case, I'm going to take a look at my triangle again here. And we had determined earlier, and this is probably why the hit rate was a little higher on this problem than the other law of sines problem, that this angle is 20 degrees. So that means I go, oh, I know what type of triangle this is. If it's a 20 degree, 140 degree triangle, that means it's an isosceles triangle. So if it's an isosceles triangle, I can be a little bit clever here. I can cut this angle in half. That means this becomes 70 degrees. I'll use this side. This becomes 70 degrees. And this becomes 90 degrees. All right? Now it's a right triangle problem. And I know that this length is 10. This length is 10. So if I can figure out what, I'll just put m here for this one. If I know what nt is, I can multiply that by 2 and I can get rt. Well, let me just focus on this right side, I guess. I know that the if I use this 20 degree angle, I could use the cosine because that's adjacent over hypotenuse, or I could use the 70 degree angle and do, say, sine. So I know, for example, the sine of angle S, or the sine of 70 degrees, is equal to opposite over hypotenuse, in this case mt, over 10. And then I just solve for mt. So I multiply both sides by 10. You got 10 times the sine of 70 equals mt. 10 times sine of 70. So mt is 9.39. So that means RT equals twice that. So that'd be 8 and a 7 and a 18. equals 18.78, which rounds up to 18.8. Cool. So good job being clever if that was the method you used.